dear students. In today's session, I'll be explaining you about the functional dependency constraints and transitional constraints. Along with that, we will be discussing certain update operations in relational data model. Well, to begin with functional dependency constraint, let me tell you all that till now we have discussed different types of constraints like null constraints, entity integrity constraints, foreign key constraints or referential integrity constraint, semantic integrity constraints, and in today's session I'll be teaching you all with functional dependency constraint and transition constraints. So note down these various types of uh, constraints we have come across with, and any type of constraints could be asked as a 2-mark question for part A. Okay. Another type of constraint is the functional dependency constraint, which establishes a functional relationship among two sets of attributes x and y. So, observe the terms functional dependency. In a particular relation, in a particular table, there exist many attributes, and here in our definition, they have considered the attributes name as simply x and y. Okay, if any attribute x exists, then y also exists, or y is an attribute which depends only with the existence of which one x. If x attribute exists, only the value of which one exists, y exists, like that. Okay. This constraint specifies that the value of x determines a unique value of y in all states of a relation. It is denoted as a functional dependency x tends to y. It means the attribute x is going to determine or decide the value or a new value for which attribute y in every state, in any kind of state. Okay, and how the functional dependency constraint is represented: x tends to y. This is the arrow mark towards y. X is going to decide the value for which one? Y attribute. X tends to y. For example, if we are having the attribute as date of birth, okay, then which can be derived? Age can be derived. It is a derived attribute, right? Yes. So here x is a attribute like date of birth attribute. If we consider, then age kind of attribute can be, the value of age can be obtained only with the help of which one? The date of birth. Yes or no? The date of birth and the present date or the current date. Taking the two dates, we can derive which one? The age. Are you all understanding? So the other type of constraint is named as what? Functional dependency constraint, which establishes a functional relationship among two sets of attributes. So x and y. Just now we observed in the earlier constraints the constraints between relations, right? Yes, so this is which type of constraint? Among the attributes. In a relation, if there are set of attributes. In a student relation, we are having number of attributes: student, roll number, class, student name, date of birth, age, like this. Okay. So among that set of attributes, if there exist certain dependencies between the attributes from one attribute to another. Okay, so that is what they are telling, which establishes a functional relationship among the two sets of attributes x and y. This constraint specifies that the value of x is going to determine a unique value of y in all states of a relation. So if the value of x is, or the attribute x is date of birth is going to determine a unique value of y is age, unique value of age in all states of a relation. That is, how much ever the student's information you are entering, how much ever the number of students records you are entering, for all the students, the date of birth information, if it is collected, then the attribute y is can be what? Obtained with the help of which one? X attribute, date of birth attribute. Okay, so this is what we refer with the functional dependency constraint. Another type of constraint is called transition constraints, which can be defined to deal with state changes in the databases. So transition constraint. Transition means what? A change. Some current value is there. After some period of time, if it has to be changed, transition. Okay. The very best example is, for example, in a company database, employees are working, employees are having some salary factor. And do you think the salary remains same throughout, like how much ever the years they are serving in that company? After some period of time, the salary will be what? Incremented. Are you all understanding? So if there will be increase in the salary. Initially the salary will be with some fixed value. After some duration the salary value will be what? Incremented with some new amount. Are you all understanding? So transition constraint, which is defined to deal with the state changes in the database. So what is that? An example of a transition constraint is the salary of an employee can only increase. Such constraints are typically enforced by the application programs or specified using active rules and triggers. So in the application programs, with the application programs, we can add these transition constraints, like the salary of an employee can only increase. It is not that after some period of time it is getting less or it is getting decreased. No, it is what? It has to be increased. So on what period of time, on what basis, how much is the increment factor, like this. So this is what the transition constraint. It can be defined, it is used to define what? To deal with the state changes in the database. So whatever the current state is there in the database, if we want to change the state of the database to some other state. So the state of the database is what? It is the company database, employee is having the salary information. So the current state is what? For example, if a employee is paid with some 25,000 salary, that is a current state. So if that state has to be changed in the database, so that current state has to undergo change, has to be modified. It is not only with only one person, any some number of employees, or to for all the employees. Then uh, what is that change factor? With how much it has to be modified, or the state has to be changed? That is done with the help of these, which one? Transition constraints. Okay. I believe that you remember this examples. If you exactly note down the example with these definitions, you can easily write the formal definition for the constraints. Okay. So this, by this we finished with a constraint kind of discussion. Okay. Now the other discussion is with the update operations, transactions, and dealing with constraint violations. So what do we mean by update operations? So we till now we have understood the term database, or whatever the relation, domain, schema, attributes, tuples, right? And the integrity constraints, the various ways of integrity constraints and all. So we can perform certain operations on these data, or the records what we have inserted in the database. So whatever, if there are many relations, various relation in our database, and if those relations are holding certain records in it, those records can be can undergo certain operations, and those operations are termed as update operations. So transactions, what do we mean by transaction? For example, if the current state of the database is viewed, if for example in the which one, bank, or with accessing the bank account, we will be withdrawing the amount, we will be depositing the amount. So these are what? Doing certain transactions. Okay. And dealing with constraint violation, suppose, like we have discussed many different types of constraints, right? If any constraints are violated, how to overcome those violations? Are you all understanding? For example, if you want to delete a data, if you want to delete a record, but the for deleting certain what constraints are there, if those constraints are satisfied, only then the records can be deleted. Understood? So if those constraints are not satisfied, and if you are trying to delete a file, how to overcome those thing when it is telling it the record cannot be deleted? So how to overcome such thing? Okay. Or For example, if the primary key, while entering the value of the primary key, it should be what unique. If the values get repeated while entering, so the constraints are violated there. If the value is duplicate, if it is not unique, then you're violating the constraints that are defined for a primary key, like this. So we will be understanding all such things in this further discussion. So there are three basic operations that can change. Which are those three basic operations which will change the database, or change the states of relations in the database? So what is that state of a relation? For example, if I'm entering some student records with 100 student records I am entering at one moment of time, or at that current state I'm having 100 records. Okay, the very next day I'll be adding again 100 records. It means what? There is a change in the state of a relation. That is, yesterday it was 100, now it is again plus 100. Now total the current state of that relation, how many records are being inserted? 200. Suppose if I am deleting 3 records, that is also a change in the state of a relation. The current state was 200. After deleting, it is now how much? 197, like that. Okay. So, or update. Update means, for example, whatever the 197 records now I have after deleting 3 records. Okay, if I want to modify certain information in the existing record, among the 197 records, in one of the record I want to do certain changes. That is what I am modifying. So the current state of the data is now being changed by updating. Okay, so these are the three possibilities, three basic operations what we can perform, and that is what we will be discussing with the update operations. Okay, so which are the basic operations which is going to change the state of a relation in the database? So relation is what? The various entities, the various tables what we have created and where we have saved the records. Okay. So which are those three basic operations which are going to change the state of a relation is insert, delete and update. So if we are inserting a record, it is a change in the state of a relation. If you are deleting a record, it is a change in the state of a relation. And update or modify, you can also use the term update or modify, even it is what changing the state of a relation. See your students, in the main heading is update operations. Update operations include which three operations? Insert, delete and update. Don't think that update means only update, about modifying you have to tell. Update operations plural they are telling. So these are the three different operations that comes in that. Okay, fine. They insert new data, delete old data or modify existing data records. Observe the terms used here. Whenever you are inserting for the first time a new information. So insert means what? Insert operation means what? You are inserting new data. Deleting means what? Which is already existing. Some data is already existing and you are deleting. So what is the term they have used? Delete old data. And or modifying existing data records. So modify is another operation, or update is another operation. So already certain data or information is existing, you are trying to change the, you're doing certain corrections for that existing data. So that is why modify comes when, modify operation is actually done when already certain record exists. So modify existing data records. Understood? So what about insert? Like, let us know still briefly, in depth about the term or the operation. Insert is used to insert one or more new tuples in a relation. So relation means what? Entity. Entity means what? Again a table like student, department, project, employee. These are the example for relation. So insert means what? You are adding or you are inserting one or more tuples, new tuples. Tuples means rows, right? Record by record, John Smith, Franklin, like this employee records we observed, right? So insert is what? It is used to insert one or more tuples in a relation. Then delete is used to delete tuples. So for example, 50 employee tuples. If 50 tuples are already there in the employee relation, if you are removing two tuples means deleting certain already existing old tuples. And update is used to change the values of some attributes in existing tables. So observe the thing written here. Update is actually used to modify the values of some attributes. For example, employee is having first name, initial, last name. So that those things will be, rarely will be found to be changed. Not very frequently the names will be changed at all, right? Yes. Coming to the date of birth, it will be what? The same. No thing of modifying. Coming to the address or phone number, office phone number, home phone number, like this certain things are there, or certain salary. Okay, these are the attributes which may have the possibility to get changed in the later stages. So update is used to change the values of some attributes, not all the attributes. We are not changing. Modifying means it is not that we are changing all the information of an employee. Only certain attributes values will be changed. For example, a person's address may be changed, like that. Okay, so in the existing tuples. Now, whenever these operations are applied, the integrity constraints specified on the relational database schema should not be violated. So whenever you are inserting a record, whenever you are deleting a record, whenever you are modifying a record, you should take that. It is not so simple like how we just now gave one line definition. Insert means inserting new tuple, new one or more tuple. Deleting means deleting some old tuple or existing tuple. Modifying one or more attributes, not like that. But when we are doing these operations, we should take care that none of the integrity constraints should be violated. There are certain constraints defined on those attributes. Understood? So for example, primary key attribute, if you are inserting the new value, how there exists a violation, how the integrity constraint may be violated. When I'm inserting a new record, I may by mistake use the same what roll number of some already existing student, already enrolled. I have filled one student information. That student roll number itself I am giving for the new student tuple. So what happened? The roll number is repeated now. It is what causing violation. Understood? So whenever we are inserting the information, we should take care that none of the integrity constraints has to be violated. Okay, and like that, for which one, deleting also we should take care, modifying also we should take care. And in the upcoming discussion I'll be telling with the examples how these violations are found or issues arises. Okay, first one, insert operation. The insert operation provides a list of attribute values for a new tuple T that is to be inserted into a relation R. Okay, for example, let us take the employee data. If employee is having some 8 attributes, how many attributes? 8 attributes. So list of attributes means an employee is a relation, R, capital R you're finding, right? And relation name is what? Example I'm taking, employee. If I have to insert a record for an employee, employee relation is having list of attributes. So list of attributes number is 8, and 8 attributes means for all the 8 attributes values has to be given, and all those list of attributes, 8 attributes for one particular employee forms one tuple. Yes or no? One tuple, if you are inserting means it is a one employee information with how many attributes? 8, the list of attributes. So insert can violate any of the 4 types of constraints. So while doing the insertion, while adding a new record to a, while inserting a new tuple with some list of values for the attribute, certain constraints may be violated. So how many types of constraints can be violated? 4 types. Which are those? Domain constraints. First one, domain constraints can be violated if an attribute value is given that does not appear in the corresponding domain or is not of the appropriate data type. Okay, so domain constraint means, like for example, I just now told employees is having 8 attributes and we have to enter 8 attributes, 8 values of those attributes only. If you are entering 9 attribute values, which is that 9th attribute? So domain constraint violated. Understood? So 8 attributes means 8 values has to be given and it is to be in the order. What is that? First employee name, then employee SSN, then employee what address, date of join, salary. In what order the relation is being defined, the same order you should insert the values. If the insertion first is employee name, then comes employee SSN. If you are entering first SSN, then you are giving employee name means what? The domain constraint is violated. Are you all understanding? And in the domain constraints only, for example, the employee name is of character data type. If you are inserting number, it takes character, their number also can be considered as a character. It doesn't matter, but it becomes invalid, right? Yes. So there maybe we will be knowing that it is a mistake, but even the numbers are also considered as a characters. Coming to the SSN. SSN is defined as a number. So number data type. You have to give only number kind of information in place of SSN attribute. There if I enter some alphabet information, some characters information, then the rules are violated. Did you all understand? This is one type of constraint, domain constraint. Second one, which is other type of constraint. Key constraints can be violated if a key value in the new tuple T already exists in another tuple in the relation R. So I am inserting a new tuple for the employee relation. While inserting, I should be careful that I am inserting a new record. If I repeatedly, if I enter the primary key value, the value that is already existing in the relation, then again the key constraints are violated. So I am repeating the key value. The key value should be unique, right? Yes. So third one is entity integrity constraint. Entity integrity can be violated if any of the primary key of the new tuple T is null. So we know that if any attribute we choose as a primary key, it should be filled with the values. None of the primary key attribute value should be what null. We cannot leave the cell empty. Primary key employee SSN is a primary key. So it has to be filled. That column value should be filled. If it is left null, which is violated, entity integrity constraint is violated. Then fourth type, referential integrity can be violated if the value of any foreign key in T refers to a tuple that does not exist in the referenced relation. This is very easy. You all, I hope you remember the foreign key what I have told. So in the very common example what we have discussed, James Smith is working for which department? In the employee relation, DNO is a foreign key, right? We know that John Smith is working for department number 5. So that 5 is what, or department number is a foreign key, but department number is a primary key in which relation? Department relation, and whatever the value department number 5 which we found in the employee relation, whether that department number 5 exists in department relation. In the department relation, we have department name, department number 5. We have that department number. So, in case if John Smith is working in department number 10, if the department number value, that foreign key value is holding which attribute, foreign key attribute is holding 10 value. And in the department relation, if we don't have the department number 10, what happens? The foreign or referential integrity constraint is violated. So employee relation is referencing a value with in a foreign key which is not existing actually. So department number 10 doesn't exist, right? So this is what referential integrity violated. Okay. If an insertion violates one or more constraints, the default option is to reject the insertion. So among these 4 constraints, any of the constraints are violated, either one or more than one are violated, then that insertion operation has to be rejected. It means what? We have to cancel the insertion and do the insertion from the first with a new proper values. Okay, fine. Now let us discuss with the delete operation. What is it? The delete operation can violate only referential integrity. So insertion can violate how many? 4 types of constraints, whereas delete operation can violate only one type of referential integrity. How is it? This occurs if the tuple being deleted is referenced by foreign keys from other tuples in the database. So, for example, the delete operation when you are doing, for example, an employee is working in which department? John Smith is working in department number 5. So in that employee relation, now you assume that you are deleting John Smith record, but that employee relation is referencing which one? Foreign key it is having, which is that department number 5. It is referencing certain this one. Okay, there, let us take that example. I'll show you with the table of information. Okay, observe this table, students. Let us consider the department relation here. Department name is research. Department number 541 exists, right? How many department numbers exist? 5, 4 and 1. Now, just check here. Department number is a primary key of department, and department number here in the employee relation DNO, it is acting as a foreign key in employee relation. Now, there has arrived a situation. There is a situation where I want to delete which one? Department number 5. I want to delete the which department? Research department information. I want to delete that. So if I am simply deleting this department row, this tuple, delete delete from department with D number equal to 5. What is the D number? What is the primary key I am referring? 5. Delete from department where D number or department number equal to 5 is my query or my which one? The query operation, delete operation. When this I give, it doesn't delete. There will be an error because it has violated referential integrity. What does that mean? Is just check here. If I am deleting this, the department number 5, here you are referencing that few employees are working in which department number 5. If I remove this, then let us assume that I removed the row 5. Okay, then the database state will be in inconsistent rate. The information in the database will be improper. How means when I delete department research, here in the employee, when you are finding department number 5, John Smith is working in department number 5, but when referenced with department here, the 5 as it is being deleted, there will be no reference for which department number 5. Understood? So what happens? The database state will be in a improper state, inconsistent state or invalid state. So whenever we are deleting any row, any tuple here, if when I want to delete this department number 5 tuple, I should check in which other relation department number foreign key exists as a foreign key. I should check in which other relations the D number is acting as a foreign key. Are you all understanding? I want to delete department number 5, but before I remove this department number 5, I should verify in which all other tuples the department number is acting as a foreign key. Okay, now let us check. In the employee relation, you are finding department number acting as a foreign key. So what I should do, before I delete the department number 5, I should first delete here. Which one I should delete? I should delete which one? John, Franklin and who else? Ramesh and Joyce. So department number 5 has to be removed here first. Are you all understanding? It's not that I have to remove complete John employee record. Instead, or I should remove these values. John has to be referenced with null here, because if department number 5 is deleted, the John has to work in other department, right? So 5, 5, wherever 5 is there, I should first remove that. or the records or the employees who are working in department 5 has to be removed. Did you all understand? So 5 value should not exist here. This is one thing you have to take care. Okay, and coming to department location, where is department 5 here? 5 Bel Air and Sugarland. So the department number research is existing in two different locations. So again Huston. So three locations it is existing. So here also in this relation I should first remove these location information. Three tuples has to be first deleted. Till then I cannot delete which one here? This department number, research department information I cannot delete. Okay, if you just check here in this also, where else? Yes, in the project also department number 5 is there, right? So I should remove the references. Department number 5 is controlling which project X, Y, Z, right? So these three records, these three project tuples also has to be removed. Only then I can delete which department? Department number 5. Okay, so in project, in employee and in department location, in three relation department number is acting as a foreign key. So first I should remove the department number 5 information in those three relations, and then I should delete which one? The department number 5 in department relation. I hope you all are following. So the delete operation can violate only referential integrity, and this occurs if the tuple being deleted is referenced by foreign keys from other tuples in the database. Understood? So whichever the tuple we are deleting, we are trying to delete now, if it is referenced as foreign keys in other tuples in the database, then the referential integrity is violated. To specify deletion, a condition on the attributes of the relation selects the tuple to be deleted. So whenever we are trying to delete our record, we should specify the condition. What is that condition? Like if I tell delete from department where DNO is equal to or D number is equal to 5. What is the condition? I am providing an attribute with certain value which in the department number attribute. What is the value? If it is value 5, it has to be deleted. What is the relation name I told? Delete from department. Department is a relation name I am giving. Okay. So several options are available if a delete operation causes a violation. So there are there are various ways to overcome the issues when delete operation is trying to cause a violation. So the first option called restrict is to reject the relation. Okay. So how to avoid these violation? How to avoid such which one issues? Like I'm directly deleting department number 5, but I didn't take care like where exactly those department number was existing as a foreign key. Without checking, I'm trying to delete the department number 5. So how to overcome such operation? How can I stop a user to directly delete such type of records without analyzing? I can avoid that issue by adding which one? Restrict. Okay, so restrict. If I use the option restrict, okay, so it tries to avoid any user by deleting the record. So if you are adding this option, if restrict operation or option is added to which table or which relation, department relation, then none of the records or the deletion operations cannot be performed. Okay, the second option is called cascade, is to attempt to cascade the deletion by deleting tuples that reference the tuple that is being deleted. What is the second option is? See, in the just now explained example, I wanted to delete department number 5, but department number was acting as a foreign key in which three relation? Employee, project and department location. In these three relation, department number was existing, right? If I add the option cascade, then automatically the software or the DBMS take care that the system takes care that it is going to delete the information first in which one? The department number information that is found in the department location, that is found in the employee relation, that is found in the project relation. in all these three relations, the department number 5 reference is first deleted, and then which operation is performed? The department number 5 in the department relation will be deleted. Are you all understanding? So the first option is what? Restrict, where if any user is trying to delete a department number information, you are trying to restrict that by rejecting, by cancelling the deletion, as that uh, which one department number is acting as a foreign key in multiple relations. Are you all understanding? You're you're rejecting the relation itself. Another case is if you don't want to cancel the deletion, if you want to proceed with the deletion operation, then uh, while creating a relation department, if you add a option cascade, so on adding the option cascade, whenever you are deleting any tuple in the department relation, what it does, as the cascade option is attached, it is going to delete all the foreign key references in other relation, and then it is going to delete in the which one, the department relation. Okay, so this is the second option. Then third option called set null or set default is to modify the referencing attribute values that cause the violation. Each such value is either set to null or changed to reference another default valid tuple. It means, so if you are having the third option, set null or set default, like I just now told, John Smith is working in department number 5. Foreign key is telling 5. But now you are ready to remove the department number 5. So if you add the option set null or set default, okay, set null. Default means what? For example, if the employee is not working in any of the department, in none of the department, so there will be something like uh, by default, let the employee be what? In which one? In the some I mean reception, or in the sales. What is it? Sales. Let us take like none of the department, research or whatever we found in the administration, then headquarters. These were the three options we found, right? If uh, if any employee in that company is not assigned with any department number, then let us assume that by default those employees, whoever are not attached with any department, let that employee be fixed with which department? By default sales. Default what? If none of the department number is specified, means that employee is in which department? Sales department. So third option is what? Whenever we are trying to delete a tuple which is referencing other relation, where those tuple information is acting as a foreign key in other relation, then those values has to be removed, and in place of that values null should be added, or if not, otherwise if you don't want to add null, which can be added? Default value can be added. So the meaning here is, if John Smith is working in department number 5, now I am deleting department 5 tuple. Did you all understand? So if I use the third option, what happens is automatically John Smith department number 5 will be removed. In place of 5, NULL will be added. Okay, or else if you are giving the option default, then John Smith will be working in which department? 5 has to be removed because 5 is now getting deleted. So default, if I have set sales department, sales, if the sales is given with some 10, that number will be added. So if a referencing attribute that causes a violation is part of the primary key, then it cannot be set to null. Otherwise, it would violate entity integrity. So entity integrity means what? The primary key value should not be set null, right? So the department number in the employee relation was acting as a foreign key, and when the department number 5 was about to be getting deleted from the department relation, we can set that DNO, foreign key value, as null. But if the referencing value is somewhat primary key, in that particular tuple, if at any point of time primary key value should cannot be kept as null. Okay, but DNO in the employee relation is a foreign key. There we can set what? Null. Okay. Then the last operation is update. The update operation is used to change the values of one or more attributes in a tuple of some relation R. So as I told you, if I want to change the employee address or the salary information, all such things can be done with the help of update operation or modify operation. It is necessary to specify a condition on the attributes of the relation to select the tuple to be modified. So always a condition should be told which particular tuple has to be modified. For example, update from employee, update from employee where ESSN is equal to 333 So condition. Okay, so you're giving certain information, you're giving certain what hint, which tuple you're referencing with the help of the primary key, which either it could be a primary key value or with certain other attribute value also. You have to tell which particular tuple and then provide a condition what change has to be done, with which attribute the change has to be done. Those information has to be given. Okay. So updating an attribute that is neither part of a primary key nor a foreign key usually causes no problems. Suppose if you are updating, if you want to change some attributes where those attributes are not primary key, where the attributes are not foreign key, then there doesn't exist any problem during update operation. But the DBMS need only check to confirm that the new value is of the correct data type and domain. So whenever the update operation is being performed, the operating system, the DBMS software tries to take care that whatever the new value we are inserting, whether it is matching that data type. For example, if I am modifying the the date of join, employee's date of join, if I am modifying, that data type should be of date type only whenever I am giving a new date of join value. Okay, it should not be simply some number data type I am giving. Okay, so it will be taking care that. Okay, so update operation doesn't create problem if you are not updating the primary key attribute value or the foreign key attribute. It doesn't cause any problem if they are not a part of primary key or a foreign key. And it only bothers whenever a new values are updated, modified, whether the new values are of which one, the same domain type or the data type which are defined in the domain. Okay, what is that domain? The attribute. For as I told you, date is a domain, and what is the data type of date? Date. Date type has to be entered. Okay. So modifying a primary key value is similar to deleting one tuple and inserting another in its place because we use the primary key to identify tuples. So suppose if we are changing a primary key, for example, if you are changing a roll number of a student. So changing the roll number of a student means it should not be repeated. It should be a unique value, roll number. So if you are modifying means it becomes a new record only. It means what? Removing the old one and adding a new one. So if there is a change you are doing with the primary key attribute, of course it will be something like deleting the old one and inserting the new tuple. Okay. If a foreign key attribute is modified, the DBMS must make sure that the new value refers to an existing tuple in the reference relation or is set to null. So just now I told John Smith, you are removing the department number. So if foreign key attribute we are removing, 5 is being removed because department number 5 is getting deleted, right? So either it is set to be null. So when 5 is removed, in place of foreign key, what information has to be given? NULL, null should be set. Or otherwise, if you are adding something like now the John Smith as the research department is being removed, if John Smith is moved to administrative department number is what? 4. So if department number it is 4, that department 4 is existing, so you are modifying with a new foreign key value, you should take care that new foreign key value is existing in the reference relation, that is in the department relation for exist. This is a thing you should take care. Okay, so this is about the violations we come across in update operation. Okay students, I have tried my best to make you all understand with the first chapter in unit 2. With these discussions, we have come to the end of the chapter 1 in unit 2. Thank you all. Meet you all in the next session.